Hey y'all, my name is Angelica Rubio, State Representative for District 35, and this is a brief legislative update. If you could tell by my mascara, we're done. We're done. It's already 15 till 7 here Thursday evening. We got done with special session a few hours ago, actually, in the House, and the Senate got done I want to say maybe a little over an hour ago. And we're adjourned. Sine die. I will say that it was really an interesting day because, of course, I love my colleagues and it's always good to see them. But I think I was more like connected to them today because we just believed so strongly about why we should not be. Aside from what you've heard from the administration, because even yesterday's press conference, if you watched the governor's press conference, it was bad. I mean, she called us lazy and all kinds of stuff. And I just want to say first and foremost that whether it's the Republicans or the Democrats in the House and in the Senate, like, we work very, very hard, and we do this work. We leave for a month, 2 months at a time. In January, leaving our homes. We don't get paid for this work. We're a volunteer legislature, so we only get per diem while we're in session. We don't get paid for the work that we do when the session is over. So like the calls and emails and things like that I have to answer, like I could easily say, no, I'm not going to answer it because I'm not going to get paid for it, but that's not who we are. And a lot of us in the legislature are really good public servants. And to hear the governor say some of those things, I think was just really hurtful because we're supposed to be on the same team. And so I feel like today, and standing with my colleagues in the legislature, especially in the House and the Senate, I got to see and talk to a few of them, or a lot of them, but a lot of us stayed after for a press conference that I ended up leaving from, but it was just great to stand with them. And you all should be proud. Like, I know that there's a lot of talk right now around these issues that we're dealing with in our communities. Like, we all want the same thing. We all want to live in communities that are safe and that, like, we all want that. But the philosophies that we each have on how we get there are different, and I feel like Democrats today proved that. One of our advocates stated over social media earlier about how, like, we chose people over politics today, and I'm really, really proud of that. With that said, I will give you a bit of a rundown. I mean, there's really not much. We kind of had an idea of how we were going to go into today's session. So the way things work is the governor set the proclamation. We started today at noon. We did roll call, and then what we ended up doing was introducing legislation for what's called a feed bill, and the feed bill essentially pays for the staff and the legislators, like the per diem, and for the building, like everything that needs to run for a session, like that is in the feed bill. And that is something that we do every time we host a session or hold a session. And so with that, though, we also ended up doing including funding for the communities that have been impacted by the fires and the flooding over the course of the last few months. Specifically folks out in Ruidoso, which is such a disaster. And so we're we were able to add some funding through the feed bill for those communities. There was a moment where in the House there was an amendment that was introduced by Representative John Block that had to do with their issues with saying that there's issues around the border, and they're wanting to put money into like drones and things like that to deal with like the fentanyl crisis. But to be fair, it was just a dog whistle for just the anti-immigrant rhetoric that we're hearing, that we clearly saw with the RNC last night, for example, with support for mass deportation. So that was just one of the things that through procedure we were able to shut down, because through it was not germane according to the proclamation. And we have an excellent parliamentarian, Representative Andrea Romero, who like really just shot that down, because according to the rule, to just the rules of I forget what it's called, like procedures and parliamentary rules and all that, it wasn't germane, meaning it wasn't something that that was like within the box, I guess, of the rules. So we were able to pass out the feed bill. It then went over to the Senate Finance heard it, then they debated it. Senate Republicans blamed environmentalists for the fires, but still voted for it. But then I guess there was a protest vote to not adjourn, but we still did. We had the votes, and so it's over. There had been rumors, well, not even rumors. The governor had threatened yesterday that she could potentially call us back, and she still could. I just don't know if she will, because we're pretty united. We have a pretty united front in both the House and the Senate, so I don't know. But I guess I will say, and I will end it by saying that I think it's been really hard this whole week has been really hard to have to like just listen to what the governor has been pushing, and then even just like the press conference she had at the encampments in Albuquerque, and just the amount of like rhetoric against poor people has just been really frightening to me, coming from a Democratic governor, and it's been really disappointing. And what I really hope happens between now and next session in January, which I'm hopeful for, is that we have such much bigger issues to deal with politically with what's coming down at the federal level, that like we need to be able to figure out how to come together on these issues, and I'm hoping that she does, and so we'll see. So with that, peace out, y'all. Thanks again.